Howdy folks, Tex Grebner here with Tex Grebner Outdoors. Got kind of a holiday themed video for you. And I say holiday not in the interest of being political correct, but in the interest of having a broad stroke, because provided that this recipe does not conflict with your dietary prescriptions according to your creed or religion, it's basically good for any feast day that you happen to celebrate. While I'm at it, I was born and raised in a Catholic family. I'm fairly religious, not very obedient, and very spiritual. So I have a very open mind. So when I say happy holidays, I simply do it to be polite, because if I know for a fact that somebody is a Christian, Catholic, Protestant, however you want to describe it, well then sure, I'll say Merry Christmas to them. But if I don't know who they are, or it is doubtful as to whether or not they share my religious heritage, I'm not going to insult their culture by being like, you've got to call it Christmas, because this is in fact December, and it is a feast season throughout many different cultures. So it is what it is. I'm all about putting the Christ back in Christmas, so on and so forth, and the anti-commercialization. But while we're putting the Christ back in Christmas, let's put the hell back in Halloween. I'm just kidding. Anyhow, this is a pretty awesome recipe for a seasoning that I use, and I figured that I'd share it with you. Obviously, I taped this film a little bit earlier in the week, and as you can see looking out my window right now, we're finally going to have a white Christmas. Right now, I'm on my way to some relatives, so I hope you guys will enjoy this film and stay tuned. There are basically two kinds of flavor that you can apply to meat. You have savory and you have sweet. I personally tend to be a fan of savory. Now what I have here is my own special seasoning. What is contained in that bottle is 2 McCormick ground thyme, 1 McCormick ground sage, 1 McCormick ground tarragon, 1 McCormick smoked paprika, 1 McCormick chili powder, and that's basically it. There's no hardcore peppers, there is no salt in it to begin with, no garlic in it to begin with. And the reason that I don't have pepper or garlic in this, even though there is some element of pepper in the chili powder, is pepper turns acrid when it begins to burn. Garlic turns very acrid when it begins to burn. And so what I have here is a beef short rib. But because it's a very fatty cut of meat, it's going to work very well with a savory kind of flavor. This is basically an herb rub rather than a spice rub, because sage and thyme and tarragon work very well with the fattier cuts of meat. They blend very well with the fat and release their flavor much better. Meanwhile, of course, I'm losing a lot of my seasoning to the wind here, but I'm a big fan of the savory style of flavor, And while I can't actually afford to do this with a prime rib, I'm going to be doing it with this beef short rib. The grill is at 200 degrees. I'm going to go indirect heat, bone down. And that's what I'm working with. Things very much did not go according to plan. Here I am 2 hours later with a completely raw piece of meat still because I did not have enough charcoal to actually finish the job. I shut the grill, left it alone, figured I'd come back 2 hours later to a perfectly slow roasted beef short rib. However, I had completely forgotten to shut my grill vents, and so my charcoal burned down much faster than I anticipated. Normally, in the summer, you'd be just fine. However, when it is 27 degrees outside, the grill obviously does not hold heat nearly as well as when it is 90 degrees outside. So, I'm starting my charcoal over, and here we go again. However, since I had to run to the store and get more charcoal, I decided that I was going to pick up some hickory chips, so I've got them soaking right now. The only problem is, at this point in the evening, the film quality is going to go significantly downhill because it is getting dark very rapidly. And this beef short rib is just about done. As you can see, we are juicy, and we've got some good smoke line on the outside of the meat. We did it low and slow once I finally got my charcoal going. So this is my favorite red meat seasoning that I mix up, and it is just absolutely delicious for fatty red meats like beef short ribs. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. As always, God bless all my sportsmen of America. Join the NRA to protect our rights. Please got my friends over at SOETacticalmedia.com. Thank you very much to those of you involved in law enforcement and those of you serving in the military. Thanks for watching Tex Grebner Outdoors. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year.